Oh man. The whole point is to share it on here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Embarrass the shit out of yourself.
Keep the conversation, as random as possible.
And you're doing a fine job on your own.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stardom right here on JG's Lounge. It's all about having fun, having a good time. The guest that I have on, I don't know what the topic's going to be until we get going. But with me tonight so far is Guitar Dude. How you doing, man?
Doing all right. Just a little tired, man. That's all.
Busy day?
Doing good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, busy. I'm writing songs,
been
writing albums.
Oh, no shit. Okay. Are you in a band or are you like a solo artist?
I'm a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in a band with my buddies, but I also release solo albums time to time.
That's what's up. Are you guys like little local kind of hit some local scenes kind of band, or have you guys toured? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've toured around like little restaurant areas or like little like bar areas, but
Yeah.
it's not been too bad.
What kind of music?
We're more like in the middle of classic rock and like metal. So like,
Okay.
I mean,
like
we
a
change it up.
Progressive metal almost.
It's basically what the crowd wants. That's what I've learned in being in a band. You can't just play what you want to play. You got to play what they want to play also.
That makes sense.
Want you to play.
That makes sense. So do you guys do covers or you guys got your own stuff?
We release our own stuff on like platforms and stuff, and then we play covers and then we release our information out, and then they can check out our stuff through that. So
okay, that's what's up, man. Hey Roman, thanks for tuning in, man. Feel free to join the panel if you're not busy. We're about to get started here. Just talking to Guitar Dude about his music and stuff. I would like to kind of check out your stuff. Where do you guys I mean, is there like a page on TikTok here that we can find it?
Yeah, there's a page on TikTok. I believe YouTube. I think that's it. It's just TikTok and YouTube, but we're hoping to get to Spotify, but Spotify's being a little bit difficult to get on right now.
Spotify's so when I got set up for all my I'm a network. I do 16 different podcasts, and I distribute the audio to all the platforms. I use Spreaker. But I do know it's totally different when it comes to music.
Yeah, it's like because you got to get like some sort of platform to support your music, and it's like a whole deal thing, and we're not going to do that right now.
All right, we're not going to get into that. What we are going to do is we're going to get into the show. So, like I said, I got a few questions that I'm going to ask, and we're going to talk about them. Now, first up, I've got, if you are halfway from your destination, is it from the beginning or from the end?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Man, I'm stuck at this stuff, but I got to think about it this year. It's the beginning or the end. Halfway.
And that's the other thing.
Man, you tripping me up here.
Yeah, it's the whole point, man. I want to trip you up because I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this question.
Yeah, because if you're halfway from the destination, is it because the whole point is to get to A to B,
right?
And beginning or end. So, oh boy, this is a trigger.
Yeah,
I think it would be. Oh my god, this is.
It's a tricky.
I think it would be the end, right?
I would think it'd be the end because the destination would be where you're going, right? I mean, it's not where you're coming from.
Yeah, because it would be where you're going.
I mean, that's what.
But it's definitely like It's definitely a mind tricker, though. Like it can be. It's about the type of person you are, like how you see it.
It's like the glass.
It's like a whole opinionated thing. Yeah.
It's the other thing is though for me, like if I'm heading to work, but my end goal is to be back home, then I'm the beginning would technically be the destination.
Oh, now, this is like two sides thing here.
Uh-huh.
Fork in the road right here. Uh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so
No,
I
this
think it
is
all depends on the
wow.
scenario and what the position is. Like if you're going to school, obviously you ain't want to go to school. You just want to stay home in bed. So the destination,
Yeah,
you're leaving where the destination is that you want to be. So yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I think my mind's gonna be like liquid after this.
It's
That's
gonna
my
be. Some
prediction.
of these are funnier, and some of them are more like this. So
Yeah.
that's the way the show goes, man. So, again, I appreciate you jumping on. Anybody that jumps in the group chat tonight, feel free to hit that invite. I'd love to have you guys on to join us in these questions here. Let's get on to the next one.
Yeah, because like this question with like 5 or 6 people would be so funny.
Yeah, it would
Just
last. I think it would last a little while. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
All right, next up, let's see. Is it possible to know what is truly good and what is evil?
This is like the same question just reworded.
Well, I
uh,
said the
uh,
meaning behind the question is different.
yeah.
It's
Truly,
definitely
is it possible?
yeah. I mean,
I
what is good
mean,
is good and evil depending on the person and their mindset of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, a Satanist is gonna think that a
yeah,
Christian's evil. You know?
yeah. It's about their perspective. I would say
Uh
it's
huh.
about the person's perspective
Hmm.
and what they think. Because I know it's certainly not impossible to know what's truly good and truly what's evil, but
Right.
it's not possible either. It's like in the middle.
Now, I don't think that a person going out there murdering 35 people is good. I think that that is evil.
Oh no, no, no. That's good.
But
That's good.
no,
That's all good.
that's totally fine. It's a good thing. Um,
Yeah.
as long as they're hookers and people that don't deserve to live, and I'm just kidding, guys. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. But the only way, like I said, like I love death metal, for example, but a lot of people think that that's evil.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's
Well,
terrible
I
music.
there I know that there is some death metal bands that are like that, but have Christian lyrics, like Christianity all through it.
Oh, I know a few of them.
So, but this can be seen in so many ways because, like, I've seen them stories like where the parent found out that this specific person.
Mastering Human Welcoming.
Can I say that?
What's that?
Yeah, they kind of like what's the word? They kind
Appreciate you.
of
Feel free to
took it.
join
I'm
up.
gonna say took advantage of their sibling or whatever, and then they shot that person.
Right.
So would that be known as good or bad? Because I mean, you're doing something right, but
Right.
is it truly good?
Well, that's
You
just
don't
like,
know.
yeah. I mean,
I'm like,
there's a lot of things, just like assisted suicide, for example. A lot of people think that that's
yeah,
extremely evil. It's not, don't do it. But if you think about somebody that's dying of cancer, and there's definitely no chance of them living, they're in misery, and they know it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, and they're like, look, I'm ready to be freed from this, and I just want
yeah,
I don't think that that's evil, but I know that there's people out there that do.
yeah. Well, it it matters about the situation because I know you would probably think that's not like
What's
evil,
happened,
but
mastering a
just the
human?
amount of guilt that person would feel after doing something like that would make them think that that's evil.
Right.
So,
What you got, mastering human? What do you think?
Hello.
Hello.
I have just half heard what you were speaking about, and I'm all in. This is so
Good.
my jam.
Yes, I love it. Love it. Yeah, so I've
So
got
quickly,
10
get to me.
questions. We've already done one of them, but we're on this one now. And is it possible to know what really is good and what's evil? Hello, John.
not from the human ego perspective, because when we don't factor in the purpose and mission of the soul's experience, we could be, with our human conditioning, with our human judgment, making wild assumptions and not honoring the soul's journey. And I do know for a fact I have clients who have unalived people, and that is absolutely part of their life contract. Because just as Guitar Dude, that gentleman, accurately said, oh my God, I've got him to a blank. Sorry. Gosh, it came in and went, sorry. Pardon me, that's not my
No, you're
normal
good.
style.
You're good.
Yeah, it's
Jaw, you're welcome to join. I'm trying to jump you on. Jaw Mastering Human is wanting to kind of counteract what you're saying, which is perfectly fine. Let's see here. I'm gonna bring him on here. It does say that my live contains some uncomfortable things causing restrictions, which is whatever. It's still going, so whatever.
my bad.
It's all good. We're still live. We're still live and going. Jaw, I did add you. I don't know why it's not allowing you on. I'm trying. Bear with me. Mastering Human, you can continue talking, though. I would love for you to continue talking. There he is. Your mic is muted. Everybody's mics are muted except for Jaw's.
Mine isn't. I was waiting for her to speak.
Yeah. Hey, Mastering Human, you can unmute your mic and please finish talking. I don't know why it's not unmuting.
Oh yes,
There you
as he was saying, that the guilt that one feels when we have participated in that soul's journey at a human level absolutely is significant. The guilt and all of those emotions is what the soul, and I think Jai, less I, may feel comfortable if I say the spirit that has designed that life experience with each other, because when we understand the journey that we play with each other, we may be having different roles, and potentially in another experience we had the flip side. So it's all the triggering emotions that make the earth experience valid.
Okay. I like the way you're thinking here, and I'm curious what Jia has to say.
I'm curious about the question. What's the question
The
again?
question is it possible to know what is truly good and what is evil?
And the answer is yes.
In what sense?
You know, with every action, with every thought, if it's good or if it's evil.
Yeah, it's up to the person's
you just know it.
perspective, right? Yeah, but
Right. Yeah, I agree with it, with the perspective. Absolutely.
there's serial killers that are clearly evil, but in their mindset they have mental disabilities to where they think that what
Okay.
they're doing is justified.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what they think?
I mean, I don't know, but I mean,
Maybe justified, but they still know it's evil.
they shouldn't be doing it, correct? But like we were talking
The
about.
classic example is
Oh shoot, I connected to you.
Oh, you're fine. What do you
a
guys
classic
say?
example when we start learning to expand our conscious awareness is about exploring the life purpose and contract
I'm
of
connected to you.
what could be called the the German dictator. I don't know if we can say his name officially. It starts with H. When we know about his soul contract and his journey and what he was trying to teach humanity, then we can start seeing these villains with a different light, even though we may not appreciate those lessons for humanity. The question is, did they learn from them?
Right. Well, and like John, what I was saying, like a Satanist might think that a Christian is evil. Does that make?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what happened, but I didn't hear anything she said. It was like frozen on my end.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Is it like buffering? Is that what it is?
Loading, I think,
It's loading. It looks fine on my end.
for him because it looks like
It's
yeah,
my
his
end.
profile picture has like
okay.
that loading thing on his.
Okay.
I can't.
No, it's my end. Sorry, dude.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Ja, you want to touch a little bit more on that though, because like, so for you, I mean, I think that there are situations like we talked about assisted suicide and stuff like that, like where people are in certain positions where like mentally and physically, and they know they're dying, and they're like, man, I'm ready. I'm ready to just be freed. Like that's not necessarily evil, but a lot of people think it is. Correct?
I think. Sorry, I'm not touching on what you just said, but I think where my answer comes from is what I believe that I'm capable of.
Right.
So when I get that question, like I know the difference between good and evil, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's like I think across the borders in humanity, it'll be different between each person's perspective.
mhm.
Right.
I'm sort of
I-
like the complete opposite of that because, like, I go on all the possibilities of what people feel and what sort of happens to people, not just what happens to me. So,
Right. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Some of these are comical. Some of them are more serious, like this. Let's see what else we got.
What do you got, JG?
How
What do you
long,
got?
Okay. How long will you be remembered after the day that you die?
A generation or two.
I would like to think that my great
Well-
grandchildren are hearing stories about me.
I don't care.
honestly, I want to be remembered by my family because, I'm a musician and stuff. My parents have guided me towards the musician era. So I want to be known in some way in that form. But I mean, I don't want to be super, super known to where I'm famous as like ACDC or Eddie.
I could care less. Whatever happens, happens. Is how I look at it.
What?
And who knows? I really don't know how long it would be remembered.
Right. And that's the same here. I mean, all I know is I'm putting stuff out there that's going to still be there when I'm gone. So people will be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? Mastering Human, you are still on. What do you think?
I believe that we can focus on the moment while also recognizing that all our human experiences at a conscious collective level is being recorded and that access can be tapped into for in this like eternity. Because your question is posed, but I am not thinking it's just going to be just humans that we're going to be remembering each other. It is about our spirit, our soul, our consciousness source. It's recorded, it's tapped into. We are always remembered, just like we are never alone.
I agree.
So,
I
I
agree
love
with
this,
you, but
by
I
the
know
way.
right
I'm
now that
flipping
Ja
some.
does not agree with you. But I agree.
Well,
We can still
that-
love and accept that.
That is we're in the sort of era. We're in the era right now to where we have good technology, to where we have that access to pictures and photos and videos. So we actually probably could be remembered more than like people back in the old days.
Well, yeah. There's
You know,
more. There's
with,
just more
like,
things being recorded.
Shoot, what are them like?
Everybody's
Yeah.
got a
But look what
phone.
happens to
Everybody's
people in history.
Everybody's taking selfies, except these filters are screwing it all up.
Yeah,
But look
definitely.
at what the history has taught us. It turns into history, myth, and legend. So, are we going to be truly known for who we really are, or is it just the perception of someone else at the human level?
Well, it's kind of like that one pass the telephone information game.
Right.
Basically, all the information passed through people will most likely be a different story. So it probably would be like that. It probably would be like just like, let's say, yeah, I played keyboard, and then somebody got information and said that I played like keyboard and mouse on PC, and then it just kept going there and there and there, and
Yeah.
just kind of went different.
Okay.
Sorry, pardon me. Could it be said that we will be remembered by how we make other people feel about us versus the actions and the reactions that we do and the achievements that we think we will be known for?
Well, I think that that's a good question, and I think that might be something that I'm pretty sure John and I would both agree, because I'm not trying to reflect all of my answers on what Jaw's comparison is going to be. I just know that him and I disagree on a lot of this stuff. At the same time, we both believe in love. We both believe in love and putting out good vibes. And I think that if we are being known for doing that, then yes, that will resonate after we pass on. What you got, John?
And also, by the way, completely off topic. I'm not going to try to be mean or anything, but it's actually kind of cool. Ja kind of sounds like that one guy from Ghostbusters, the main guy. I forget his name, but he sounds just like him.
Are you
I
talking
forget.
about Bill Murray?
It's blanking on me. Yes, he sounds exactly like Bill Murray.
How do you forget who
Almost.
How do you forget who Bill Murray is?
Well, I'm in like the newer generation, man.
Yeah, like the middle school. Got it. I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just giving you a hard time, man.
Yeah, okay, wow.
John, I am curious. What do you think, man?
And what's the question?
As far as like, I know you don't necessarily care, but do you feel that like once you're gone, that people are going to remember the good vibes that you sent?
So I know for a fact that the life that I have led will ripple through eternity, right?
Right.
And I mean, if I'm sticking on the whole remembered part of it,
Right.
I mean, how long will it last? It depends on how much longer I have to live. Because if I was to go today, I doubt I'd be remembered longer than another generation or two. But if I went another 20 years, bro, the whole world's gonna know who I am, dude. Put it that way.
That's such an amazing mindset too to have, and just kind of doing it, not like, oh, it can be. It's like, no, it's gonna be, And I think having that mindset definitely gonna resonate with a lot of people.
We've already
Just like Nike. Just do it.
Just
do it.
I mean, and John, you're already doing it, man. You've been doing shows for a couple months, and people are talking about you on other lives.
Yeah, as long as we're making a positive impact and helping people raise their vibration and understand, whatever it is they're looking for, then hey, mission accomplished.
Right.
Because I don't care who knows me and who doesn't, but the effect I have, I do care about that.
That's good.
Yeah, because honestly, you guys kind of like bring a whole new thing to TikTok lives. It's fun. It's entertaining. I just wish more people can be here to see that.
I appreciate that.
They're coming.
They're coming.
They're coming,
It's-
DTR.
Something I absolutely adored was when there was that battle, but we turned it into a love battle, and
Yeah.
she was delightful. And honestly, it gave me so much joy. I just felt so connected to her, and it was just this love bomb that we all gave her in that battle. And I think love battles should be trending because it was just delightful. It was like meeting a new friend that we've known forever.
Was
They're so
was
cool.
that on Jaws Live?
Yeah, I think it was like 2 days ago. or
Yeah, it was
actually-
totally random and totally awesome, dude.
It is.
I'm with
It
her
is
on that.
so neat when you can have somebody come on and try to argue, and you can turn it into a positive output. If
Yeah,
that's
she
what you're
definitely wasn't arguing. She was just more curious.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think for us who had experienced talking about China the day before in the live, to see a beautiful soul in
Hold on,
China.
sorry, Master. Let me help him real quick. So,
Yeah.
just so you know, what she's talking about is I cleared the panel and I got a random request and I accepted it to co-host, and it was a lady from China, a younger
Yes,
lady.
I was there. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Okay, so that's what she's talking about.
Got you.
Okay,
Were-
sorry, Master.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's
Continue.
fine. It was just a beautiful follow on from the previous conversation we'd had the day before about someone's perspective about how to solve an epidemic that he was very passionate about. And I just felt like it gave us a full circle. Like, even though we were not really agreeing with him that war was going to solve his problems, it just was a really beautiful moment that I just felt like we all kind of needed, in my opinion.
I agree, and you don't typically do that, like the quick invite or the quick invites or whatever on your lives.
Yeah, I've tried it here and there, and a lot of times I just get dull people or off the wall. Actually, no, that's not entirely true because I've met some really cool people that way too. So yeah, I don't do it that much. Yes.
Well, it's sort of like a gamble with that sort of stuff. You can either get like super younger people that want to be involved with this, or like really cool people. It's really just a gamble.
Right.
It's just a gamble.
All right, let's move on to
I'm
this next
sick
one.
of
Hey,
you
Cold
with
Black Coffee
TikTok.
wants to join us. Let's let him into the
Let black up.
Come
Let
on,
black
man.
up.
go.
Let's do this. I'll give him
More
an
panel.
opportunity to give us an answer before we move on to the next one.
You
How
know
we
why I
doing?
like being in your life?
Why?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great, man. John, what were you gonna say, man?
You ask him that one more time, dude. I said, you know why I like being on your life?
Why is that?
Because I can hit my pen right here in front of my phone and not worry about it.
That's true. That's true.
You know?
Cold, man, what's up?
So, how long will you be remembered after the day that you are alive?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a historian for my friends and my elders and people in the community I've always heard stories of or go to tell stories to,
Mhm.
you know?
Right.
So, I feel like, and then that's probably about, even if it ain't recorded or it ain't on Facebook, it's going to be somebody talking somewhere, telling some story about crazy, bored, or your quiet nature, whatever it is.
Right.
It'll always be remembered in some aspect, and it'll take a long time for them to stomp that out. And even after that,
Right.
maybe they'll name a personality after you.
Actually, I like that. Yeah, the idea of having something named after you. That's cool. Especially,
And I hate
like,
to
Juvenile.
interrupt,
yeah. What you got, guitar?
but I think we lost somebody.
Yeah, Jaw jumped off. He's probably starting his live.
We
That
lost,
kind of
what's his
overlapped
name?
his. Yeah, Jaw's
Ah.
probably starting his, but it's fine. We'll get this one knocked out, and then I'll probably jump over to his anyways. But yeah, I got a few more to go. I do agree with you.
All right.
Cold Black Coffee. I honestly, me and Mastering Human both were talking about kind of like that having that vibe and that positive, just kind of energy and that resonating after you pass on. I definitely think that's how it'll be for me. For how long, I don't know, but hopefully, whatever it is, it'll always be positive. That's all I ever ask. All right, some of these are funny. Let's see what this next one is. Do you ever really do anything out of your own conscious choice, or are we always controlled by some external stimulation or motive?
Ooh.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
It's interesting. Not me, not it.
I was waiting for you, sir. I was like, I will just wait and
I
be in order because I like to be in order.
I think that
But I can go.
I don't think
Yeah, you
it's
go ahead.
I think that our conscious mind gives us options, and it's our choice to decide which way it goes. Like when you generate a thought, you are projecting that in your conscious mind, and whether you like, okay, am I going to marry this person or am I not going to marry this person? You've just created two separate thoughts within your mind. These are two separate projections. So it is there, it exists within your mind. Now, whichever one you decide to crystallize is your choice. So I think it plays both ways. I think the conscious mind gives you options, but you have to kind of decide which ones you want to go with.
Yeah, I can get that. I definitely understand that. And I also feel that because when we are our higher self designing this life to live as being human, so we've kind of mapped it out, we've got all of the agreements with the souls that are going to be the main players in our life. And then as human, we get to react and respond, forgetting we've already planned this out. And then we have the organic experience with our free will choices to feel into what we have sort of designed for ourselves. And the higher self that's still watching over us and sort of pushing us into the right direction, they will give us many obstacles if we're completely off the path. And so just in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hey, it says I disconnected.
Yeah.
Hold on, bear with me. Can you guys hear me still?
Oh yeah, you're good.
We're good. Okay, all right, we're good. It was like buffering for a second. What you got, guitar?
So my opinion's like a little, I don't know. It's very, I can't really explain it. All I'm gonna say is my opinion on this is that I think life is like a pawn, and you control that pawn. Like if you control a pawn in the game of life, for example, you have a bunch of options and choices, a bunch of paths that you can go, but you make that choice, you make that option, you make that path. So all these things can show up, but in reality, you choose.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we have so many choices, just like we have so many sort of like so many souls that we can have the dance with in marriage, for example. And there are some that definitely they're always going to find each other, and what we could label that as being like soulmates, for example. But we can have many soulmates, and if one soulmate hasn't sort of done what they've needed to do to be able to give us the experiences that we're seeking from them, we will not have that connection.
Right.
And so I love this conversation. I love JG.
Yes.
I appreciate this. I love this. This is where my jam is, because I really love respectful conversations that are really accepting, and I'm always learning. Everyone's learning, and I can feel the excitement of just actually having to articulate this and express this, because where else do we get the opportunity to really express our thoughts and feelings? And so even if we're saying something and we think, oh gosh, I've just said something and I actually don't feel that way anymore, but I'm trying to understand how I'm thinking and feeling, this is a beautiful space for that. So thank you.
No, thank you. And I brought it here because I like I was telling guitar before people jumped on, is I do this show with particular guests. I set them up and I interview them on StreamYard or on YouTube and stuff like that. But I know who they are. On here, I get the opportunity to give everybody the chance to talk about things. So I'm trying to bring it more on here because I like this. I like having people like you guys on to hear your perceptions on these things. And then, like I said, some of these are going to be comical. Some of them are more spiritual. But it's just fun. It's fun.
Sorry, I don't mean to overspeak. Isn't it so challenging, though, that I'm finding when I do my YouTube and I do my Telegram and I do my Facebook stuff, people know the work, people understand me, and they're on the learning journey too. Whereas here, no one knows me, and like it's challenging because I don't get the same sort of respect, because people are like, who is this crazy BCTIH? And it's great. It's so good.
I respect that you do it, and I respect that people like you, me, and Jaw do it, because one thing about Jaw is on his lives is right off the bat, me and him disagreed on a few things, but because of how we reacted and responded to each other, now I consider him a good friend, because I don't have to have the same belief in him in order to respect his. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I think he does enjoy playing the devil's advocate just to test us. Are you really sure? Are you going to just flickle? I think a lot of people parrot other people's information, and so he's really testing us. Is this really your belief, or are you just repeating someone else and have no skin in the game?
And my biggest issue when it comes to this kind of stuff, so like with conscious choice and everything, a few months ago I had somebody reach out to me about the idea of quantum, and I looked into like the quantum field, which got into quantum theory, which got into quantum entanglement, which got into, and the more I read it, the more it makes sense to me, more than, I grew up from a very religious background. So I spiritual, I believe that there's higher powers of existence. I don't necessarily think that God entity. I think that it is a level of frequency that we can ascend to, like the God consciousness, which I'm sure you've probably heard of. I think that exists. I think that level of frequency that we can get to exists. But I think we have to find it within ourselves.
So I sat with that. Yeah, I sat with what Jar's perspective is and questioned my own higher self. Where has he got that belief system from? And what they showed me was that he was in a meditative state and he saw a being. We're multidimensional beings. He didn't see his highest self. He saw, maybe a ninth dimensional being. And in his meditation, he asked, "Who are you?" And to express easily to him in that state he was in, they said, "I am God," as an expression, because that was the easiest way, because it wasn't. And so anyway, my sense is that because of that experience, he is very attached to God being an entity, a physical being, a singularity, conscious soul aspect experience. So he is basing his knowledge on his own experiences.
That's what we all
and I
do.
think if he went back and explored this more, of course,
that's what
but
we
this is why he can't understand when we're talking about source being a conscious collective of all. And so, there is no one being, physical entity that we could say is source or God,
Right.
even though we are, aspects of God, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I just think that's where he is comfortable with, and we can trust he's going to have more experiences to learn from.
Yeah, of course. What do you think, Guitar?
That's I don't know if a lot of people really know that about me. I kind of keep my hobbies underground, but one of my biggest hobbies I love to do is like hunting out for spirits, going out into like an actual haunted place and learning about people, learning about what actually happened there, because it's like a fun investigation. Like just plug in the spirit box and just learn about what happened there, because you never really know. You never know.
Exactly. I've had my own personal experiences with many souls who could be called icons of history, and they get to speak their truth. And we get to learn the difference between the history, the myth, and the legend. And I have found that really insightful and really helpful to understand them at that level, because they're super chatty. They're quite
Yeah.
capable of telling us the human experience for sure. And it does sound a bit random, but has helped me so much to understand them and to see them as being human versus this perfect icon or man in history or female in history. And I've learned so much from it, and I love that. I love this group. Gosh.
It's a lot of fun. It is. All right, let's get on to the
Yeah,
next
because
one.
like when
Go
everything,
ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Guitar.
all right, when everything starts piecing together, that's just the best part. Like when words start linking together to like everything that's in the house or everything that's happened in the house, it makes the hunt more real. You
Right.
know.
Right. I have, like I said, there's a few comical in here. I don't know if this next one's gonna be funny or not. Oh, here you go. If you punch yourself and it hurts, are you weak or are you strong?
Oh, oh God.
I actually have a more in-depth
Oh.
answer to this, because I mean, it's just like the idea of like somebody being able to attempt to drown themselves, like your body kind of kicks in and reacts. I don't think that you would have the ability to punch yourself as hard as you wanted to. I think your
Well,
body would prevent that.
I never like in fights and stuff. I really never foot person before. Like it's all about strategy. It's crazy. Like I mean I know people strength does help a lot. Strength does help, but strategy, knowing where to hit, knowing where to knowing where to strike.
Yeah. What you got? Mastering human.
But
If I punch myself and it hurts, am I weak or am I strong? Well, I mean, I'd want to know, why am I punching
I
myself?
don't know.
Is it just
like
so
I
I
said,
can
I wanted to
feel
throw
it?
some comical
quit
ones in
hitting
here,
yourself.
so I
Quit
threw it
hitting
in here.
yourself.
Yeah, I love it though. I love it
I think
because we learn from pain. So feeling how delicate and fragile the machine is of our human body is a good reminder.
I
So we're strong because we're learning from that, or I mean, I love it.
I think if you're punching yourself,
But
like to see if it hurts, why are you doing that? But if you unintentionally punch yourself, and it hurt, I don't think that it would make you weak because it's just. I mean, I don't know. 'Cause I feel like if you were to hit yourself, it would be
It's
unintentional. So if like I know if I punched a wall as
well,
hard as I could put a hole in it. If I unintentionally punched me as hard as I could punch, it would probably
yeah.
hurt, you know. But
I
I
think
think
because we're having that experience, we are stronger for it. We're not weaker for it
yeah,
because, or I guess, I mean, yeah, there's so, and
it's
it's
a weird
both in
one.
so many different examples.
Yeah, it's a
I
very
love
weird
it.
one.
Yeah, and also it matters if you do it like while you know you did it and while you didn't know, because like if you accidentally bit your tongue and you did not expect it at all, it's gonna hurt. But then if you try to do it on purpose, it'll hurt. It won't hurt.
Yeah, like I bit my cheek when I'm
Same
eating
with like
food.
stubbing your toe.
You know, yeah, stub your
There are
toe.
situations where people have had serious accidents and have seriously hurt themselves. The adrenaline kicks over, and then they're very strong, as it's a they're in a flight
Right.
situation and they've got massive adrenaline.
Mhm.
So then,
Well,
yeah, but that's not hitting themselves.
Right. Yeah. So
and also what I think is that we're all human. We were all born with pain receptors. So if you basically hit anywhere, it's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt as much.
Well, that's why when you said the pain receptors, we have receptors to prevent ourselves from doing these things. So the only way to actually punch yourself in order for it to hurt
Yeah.
would to be unintentional. I don't think you could intentionally hurt yourself. I mean, in
Yeah, I
this
don't think
in
you
this
could.
sense, don't get me wrong. I mean, I know that there's people who inflict pain on themselves in other ways. We're not going to talk about that because I don't want to get blocked. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's people who inflict pain on themselves. So I think this scenario in itself, the only way that it would work is if it was unintentional. D Soli, thanks for requesting to jump on the panel. We
Yeah.
got you.
Because like in that way, I think it would, in that way that you're putting it, it would make those people feel weaker because they're inflicting that damage to themselves, not only to their body but also to their soul, their mind. You know, they just
Right.
are, they're kind of crazy for doing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Hey, D Soli, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you. How about you?
We're having a good time. We're just we're taking these phrases and we're seeing where they go.
I love it. Just like a quick thought, I guess it's also about circumstances. How would you explain the guy in that movie, also the book, 127 hours, he was trapped
And the Rock
in
in Arizona.
exactly, and he had to cut off his own arm. So I think it's definitely about circumstances.
Yes. Well, and I think when you put it that way, though, I think there's a point like where the pain is less because of the adrenaline and the will to want to survive and get away from or get out of there. So like and just in everyday sense, I think that
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Like the idea, full throttle, do to yourself what you could potentially do to somebody else. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, it matters about your mental health and your mental stability, definitely. Because if you're like a crazy dude going out, and feeling that sort of way towards somebody, because like we've known that this happened before. People have done this to other people before.
yeah,
They've had that sort of mental stability. It's happened so many times.
right.
But
Well,
then you have really good people that just can't even think of anything of that,
Mastering Human says she is not keen to or experience this. I don't think anybody is Mastering
Sorry,
Human.
what is the sport where they slap themselves in the face beforehand and kind of get all like hyped up? What is that about?
Yeah, you know what? Where they have, but they aren't the ones slapping them. Well, I don't know. I guess people do slap themselves in the face to kind of get hyped up for like certain, but that's like an adrenaline rush kind of thing, right?
Those cage fighters, I mean, they're pretty.
I don't know.
amped
There's
up on their
there's
own
literally
adrenaline.
sports where people stand there and slap each other in the face. So I don't know.
Well, see, I kind of get that because I do one of the most dumbest things you can ever do.
I believe that
I
guitar.
don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's 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 called Demolition Derby.
Yeah,
It's
I've seen him.
if you have never heard of it. Yeah, it's fun, gets your adrenaline rushing, but anything can happen. You could be stuck, and there could be a gasoline fire, or your engine can catch on fire, or you could get flipped over. So
But-
really, anything can happen.
But now we're talking about a different concept of what the statement is, and that's getting that adrenaline rush from it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I think that kind of is just a distraction from what the statement is, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a ton of people that are adrenaline junkies. There's tons of them. Most professional athletes.
I mean, it is a distraction, but you know, to be fair, when you go into a demolition derby, you know what's coming your way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, it's almost like you're letting somebody else punch you to substitute for punching yourself because you know what's coming.
Right. Agreed.
I just realized I'm technically like one of the biggest adrenaline junkies out there. I got what? I got
There's a lot of them,
baseball,
man.
I got
There's a lot of
guitar,
them.
drum set, all that. Yay. This is great.
It's good, man.
So I'm really sort of a victim of that, so I can really tell you that.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I mean-
all I can say is when you go up on a stage and play one of the most killer riffs you can think of, and it gets your adrenaline pumping, you're playing with your buddies, and it's just a great feeling
Mhm.
to have.
Right. I think that there is strength in the drive for that adrenaline. You know, that makes you a strong person for kind of wanting to go
Yeah.
after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that.
I mean,
so,
I
like-
would. Sorry, go ahead.
I think there's a lot of people who are
No.
scared to do that. Like I've got, neighbors that are, decent at playing basketball on the street, but they don't want to go play on a team because they're worried about what could happen. That, like, there's the weak mind, but like then you have the strong mind that wants to go after that and pursue that adrenaline.
Yeah.
It matters if you have
I mean,
a lot of courage to go after that type of thing.
True.
What you got?
I like thinking about your prompt though. I would actually challenge the premise. Like, if you punch yourself and it hurts, I don't think you could ever punch yourself, and it would hurt as much as if you were punching something or somebody. Not to get violent, but
Yes.
something or somebody else. It would always be a measure greater
Mhm.
than you punching yourself. So it's almost like a loaded question.
Yes. That's
And maybe that like invites conversation, but
that's the whole point of the question, is to invite the conversation. Like where we went with this question, we went all over the place, and it's great. All right, let's get on to the next one. Let's see what else we got here. Like I said, I have a few comical, some that aren't so. If life is so short, why do we do things that we don't like and like so many things that we don't do?
I think mainly because in our daily lives we don't believe life is so short. I mean, we act as if life is not short.
Right.
And so it's almost like it doesn't matter what follows.
Right.
When you're acting like life is not short, then you can there's a lot of statements that can be made after that fact. But I'll end my comment there.
Well, and I think we're surrounded by so much direction. Even through the public school system, from parents, from religion, from news, from social media, we're distracted. So the idea that we have to do certain things in order to comfortably exist in this life, sometimes you feel you don't have a choice but to do things that you don't want to do. Whether it's
that's literally
whether getting stuck into a
that's
job
a
that pays
bucket
well but
list.
you're miserable, or whatever. I think that there's too many we perceive so many things around us that are so negatively impacted on our conscious mind that it's hard for us to say, you know what, I can do something I love and actually enjoy it.
Yeah, like I said, that that's basically like a bucket list, you know.
Yeah.
Do all the things that kind of prove yourself in
Right.
that sort of way.
Like Roman said, life is only now. I mean, you're right. I don't think life is measured by time. I don't. I think that our existence goes beyond now.
Yeah, life, it matters about how you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Really, honestly. I mean, that's how much time you have, is how you take care of yourself.
Mm. What you got, Sully?
Like, yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, also, why do we do things that we don't like? Part of living is sacrificing, and as you grow older, in my experience, you live less for yourself and more for other people, whether you have children or a spouse or a partner or relatives or whatever it might be. It's easier to not do things that you don't like when you're younger, but as you grow older, and maybe these are just societal pressures, falling in line with what everyone else is doing.
Right.
But there is some measure of reality when it comes to doing things that you don't like. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But if you're not countering it with doing things that you do like,
Right.
then I think there's an issue with that. So I think there has to be a balance.
I agree. What do you have, Mastering Human? Quiet for a little while.
I'm trying to mute myself so I don't bother anyone. I think we take life for granted, and I think we have this assumption that we will live until a very old age, where we get to then completely necessarily make it a priority of the things that we love to do and want to do. I don't know if I've answered that properly. Sorry.
No, that's a great answer. I think that what's very important is that we take time. You make time for yourself. I get that there's things that you have to do in life that you might not necessarily agree with, but you have to make time for yourself. Even if you're married, even if you have kids, no matter the situation, you need to make time for yourself, even if it's just 30 minutes or an hour each day to experience just clarity or something that you enjoy, so that you don't get so lost in the fog of what is the everyday hustle and bustle of life.
Yeah.
It's amazing when we do work in a career that we absolutely love, that's almost our passion that we do, we feel guilty and almost selfish, like I'm enjoying it too much. And then because we love it, and it's so easy and it's so fulfilling, that we feel like we're not working hard enough, and that it's so complex. Like we feel like we should be having this normal 9 to 5 job that everyone else is having and hating and hating on their bosses. And when we're actually following our passion and our joy, and our work is effortless because it's just, we can work so much longer because we love it so much, it feels like we're not officially working like an adult. I know that sounds really strange. I just remember when I was, an artist, and I had my own studio, and I loved working. And I felt like people would come in and be like, you're just playing around. Like everyone wants to be one, but no one really should be one because, and then they'd say, you're not earning the money that you should be, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so they'd always make me feel really guilty that I was in my joy and that I wasn't really an adult. I was just kind of pretending.
So you said you felt guilty about being within your joy?
Yes, because the judgment of people saying, like if there was a conversation about like, oh, how's everyone going with work? And they'll, talk to everyone about their work because it was, hard work and it was official work and it was, productive in their perspective. And so when they would come to me and asking me about my work, it was like, they didn't really want to know about it or hear about it because it wasn't seen as like traditional or acceptable. And so I did feel like I wasn't seen as a valid person in some regards. And obviously that's probably my own inner work and my own insecurities. But it's, we all get to experience these range of emotions.
Right. You guys got anything to add to that?
All I can say is that, and we're all only human, right? But the sad thing is we don't really know when our lives end. We never know. Unless you do it to yourself, unless you unalive yourself for saying it.
No, it's all right. I
But
already got my restriction.
that's really the only way.
Yeah. I don't. So when we talk about death and stuff like that, and people fear it, I think that's not what our human mind is so primitive, and I hate that people are so. I don't hate. That's a strong word. I just
Yeah.
it's so discouraging to see people that have such that primitive mindset, and that they can't find clarity, and that's like the whole point of like clearing your mind, and what you guys think of as prayer, you like, for me, is astral projection. Like, I like to find a place of pure bliss where I can go and just release all that negative energy and just be clear of mind, and clear, and then when I come to, I just feel so refreshed. That's what people need to experience in order to kind of extend it. If that's prayer for you, that's great. That's prayer for you. But people don't do that. People don't find that release to kind of just get that clear mindset and refresh.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think it's generally that's a solid blanket statement. I think what's fascinating to me is that occasionally you run across somebody who has kind of the benefits of life that perhaps others don't, right? They just have been, they're just extremely talented, work super hard, have benefits that others don't, and they've kind of found the secret formula that maybe breaks the question or the prompt, so to speak.
Right.
But what's more fascinating is those that don't have those benefits and still find the same secret formula. That to me is the most fascinating thing. It's somebody who doesn't have a lot, but you look at them and they have a lot. It's like, I want what they have.
That's great. That's the great answer. That really is. All right, you guys ready to move on to the next one? I think I got like 2 or 3 more. Like I said, I know there's 1 or 2 more comical ones in here. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? I haven't found any more comical ones. I don't know. Maybe I got rid of them. But what do you guys think? Where do your thoughts go when you forget them? Do you think they actually go away, or do you think they're still?
Well, I mean, how much does science know about the brain, right? I mean, that's
Right.
the fascinating thing.
I mean,
You know, and why is it that out of nowhere or in a dream or whatever, something that happened to you, not saying, perhaps I'm talking about memories more than thoughts, but I guess that's a separate question. But I kind of feel like everything's being reserved and is still available if you can access it somehow. But the question is, how do we access that?
Yeah.
Especially when we want. It's like when you walk into a room, the old George Carlin joke, when you walk into a room and you can't remember why the hell you went in there.
Yes.
Anyways, so.
Well, and that's so there are, the more that I've dived into like the quantum entanglement and quantum field theory, I've seen brain videos of what happens when somebody generates a thought. It actually does like almost create like this cell-like blip in the brain as you're generating that thought. So even though it's you forget about it,
A memory that is being loaded into the conscious self of our highest self-awareness, and so we can connect into it, and then they can remind us if we are trying to recall how we were feeling in certain trauma experiences 25 years ago. They can remind us exactly the energy and those thoughts and feelings we were thinking about the situation.
Right.
And this brings up for me, because I'm not saying this has been debunked, but it's definitely been, I think, something of an urban legend. And I'm really curious if you guys have more insight than I do, because I have very little, about the idea outside of our brains. right? So, and I don't know what that means, where that came from. Is that based on an actual study? Um, any experience with that?
I can't say that I know the right answer. I mean, I don't. I feel like that's inaccurate. But that's just a personal perception of it. Um, I don't. We would say, um, but I don't know like how I would even dive into that to be able to say what I say and understand it, if that makes sense.
I would express this question as the brain being an energetic battery. And so it is the energy of who we are as our soul essence, self, whatever you want to call it. And so, therefore, the more conscious awareness we have, the more higher energy we can collect from other consciousnesses. I think it's all super connected. I don't think we use the brain as an organ, say, like our lungs. So I think it is just a
That's something I might want to research and come back on here and talk about solely. I think that that's a good, really to kind of just deep dive into the process.
This being
No,
a thing, right? When you were younger,
For sure.
have you heard that? Heard that?
100, yeah, at least 100 times.
I think
Gotcha.
some things are just I think those sort of thoughts and those mindsets were to disempower us, to make us feel like we are not very capable of using our brain.
Right.
And that's just a reference to our conscious awareness. So just follow the teacher, kids. Trust what she has to say.
Yeah, it would be awesome if you actually,
Well, I
because
know
the rest of you actually did the research.
I would love
I
to.
am aware that there have been people summarize that's 10%. Maybe that was just a person in a rest state versus I've seen people channel their high dimensional selves and they're using and the neurons or the electrical nodes are firing off differently from when they are doing the dishes, for example. And so
Well,
again, that just makes me remind
it's like professional skiers and like bodybuilders, and they will take them for a week and put them in a room and have them mentally go through their everyday process of how they train, and it still affects and stimulates their body. It's only a third of how much it would be if they were affecting their body. So like a bodybuilder can still gain muscle mass just by mentally going through the process of what they would do if they went to the gym on their daily basis. It's only a third, but it still it's still actually affecting them physically.
Yeah, the power of the mind. The power of the mind is so profound. And what we're thinking, our body responds to it.
Right.
While it may be different if we do the actual physical action, the mental state of it, that is why we can watch a scary movie and release a lot of density within us, because we are feeling all of that and releasing it when the movie's over, the hero gets to live, and then we get to brush our teeth and go to bed. On the stimulation, I guess.
Yeah.
It's also because there are no good scary movies anymore. That's a joke, of course. Anyways,
There's some good ones, but they're all starting to just redo the old ones, which makes them not scary.
I could take a video of my laundry pile and that will scare the shit out of me.
Guitar,
That's
guitar,
horror,
you
my
haven't-
friend.
Guitar, you really haven't talked on this one too much, man. What do you got?
Well, yeah, because this is sort of outside my thought level. But the only thing I'm really going to say is that the only thing I can really remember for me is the really impactful memories. And it's not just good ones, it's also bad ones. Like, there's a lot of embarrassing memories. And there's a lot of good memories that, like, I've played guitar talent show first time. That's one of my best memories I've ever had. And then I have like a very dumb freaking embarrassing memory that keeps showing up, and my brain makes me think about it every 24 hours, and it's just like, oh, I did that, and then
Is it fair to say
no,
to everyone? I'm going to ask.
oh,
Everyone, I'm going to ask.
Don't. I don't like to. I look at life as time, not like past and present not mattering, only what's going on now. I think that we're meant to learn lessons from the past, but not to reflect on them. Like I think it makes you stronger. I mean, it gives you options. Let's, like, for example, I grew up abused for years as a kid, and I could have grown up to be an abusive asshole. But I learned what not to be, but I chose to think that way, and there's people out there that don't, that they think that that's how life is supposed to be, so they adapt with it, that that's what they become. Um, but I don't think it's,
I think
I mean, I don't know what you got.
I think that's what you said, that keeps being recycled in your memory every 24 hours. That's still inviting you to explore it. And I know often when we've had hard situations, we ignore it, and yet the body has not ignored it.
Right.
And our deeper essence of self hasn't ignored it. And so, that's part of having to look at our inner work. And I understand what you're saying about not going back into the past, for sure. For some things, we don't need to keep reminding ourselves of the things we've already empowered ourselves and healed from it and learnt the lessons from. And it's just those things that still are dormant in our energy frequency, that we still haven't fully seen the bigger perspective of it. That's sort of the stuff that we do need to acknowledge and recognize, but we'll be triggered in other facets to help us
there's
through
people
that.
that don't have the ability to do that. So there are people who let their past drag them. And I can't, and I know even in my personal life, people like that have, anxiety and stress and things that I've seen and witnessed them be serious mental issues to where, like, it affects their daily lives. But I can't talk from their aspect because I have never experienced it on my own. So I believe that there are people who don't have that ability to overcome it, and they need the assistance to or that guidance.
Absolutely.
yeah, because like at school, I am like the therapist for all my friends, because I know a lot of people that have gone through stuff, and they don't specifically take it out on other people, they take it out on themselves, and that brings back the whole like harming themselves thing. And I really don't like that, because it's just not a good thing to do. It just makes me sort of mad when they do that,
Yeah, so
it's not
the
a good
problem.
thing,
So here's
and people
the
just don't know that.
guitar. The biggest thing, at least from my personal opinion, is that being there to offer the assistance is one thing, but it's not your place to be mad at them. I think, if you want to, maybe you just worded it the way I read how you worded it wrong. Sorry.
It's okay.
What you got, Sully?
I think
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced this in my own life, and this is an extension of people that are close to me. My wife in particular, she has a relationship with her mother that I've been married to her for 20 years. She can't let go of the dynamic. Right, she just can't let go of and sometimes I feel like it's because it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's what she knows, and so it lets her get by day to day. Keep the same dynamic, don't change anything. Just keep things comfortable, even though it's unhealthy. And I think there's definitely something to be said for that. I think that. By the way, is your name JG? I'm assuming.
My name is Dylan. I don't hide my name intentionally. My name's Dylan, but I have 16 different podcasts. I go by Jukebox Ginger, and it's just resonated with me. And everybody that knows me as either JG, Jukebox. But you can call me Dylan too if you want. It's whatever you want to call me.
Got it. Cool. But I mean, like your experience I think I'm not going to say it's rare, but I think it's it's somewhat unique for you to have overcome what it is that sounds like some serious challenges. It's not easy to do, and I've like I can look at my sister was abused seriously. She's overcome that,
Yeah.
and she's led her life in a way that like my wife can't do the same thing. It's
Like,
just people are different.
the hardest
You know.
the hardest thing and what made me realize is that so for 7 years I was physically abused, and then the day that my mom left that situation, and I realized after that first day of not coming home and getting beat and not come, I thought that was every kid's lifestyle. I thought every kid went home and got beat by their parent. I thought it was normal. I thought that that's the way that life was. And the realization of that not being the case changed my whole perspective on life. Like it blew me away that that's how I thought, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was, there was a period in my life I was knee deep in drugs for a long time,
Been there.
and but I thought that's what everybody else's life was like.
Right.
And then I, had a long period of sobriety. But it's just funny how whatever you're going through, sometimes you kind of feel like you hold up a mirror, you think that life is reflecting that other people must be going through the same thing. And it's not necessarily the case. It's frequently not the case. And it's kind of a revelation when you find out that other people are living a different kind of life.
Right. And I think everybody goes through some sort of a struggle. I mean, but like with anxiety and the stress and the things like that I don't experience in my life now because I don't allow myself to. When I see people go through it, I'm willing to be there to support them, but I don't want to act like I know what they're going through because I don't know what they specifically are going through. I don't be like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It's more of a, what do you need? What can I do to help? It's not,
Yeah.
I know what you're going through. All you got to do is this. Like, I don't approach.
You would
That's what I
see,
learned.
sorry, you would see energetically their emotional experience journey that you could identify with. So therefore, other people who need that perspective are being attracted to them, drawn to them to learn and heal from each other with that sharing.
Right.
Yeah, and like I was about to say, it's better to. I know a lot of people can't do this, but it's better to not hold on to something like that. Hold on. You gotta learn to eventually let it go. And I know it's hard to do that, but it's the best thing to do. It's the right thing to do. But a lot of people have trouble doing that, and that's why I try to help them and guide towards that way. Just because it's better. It'll kind of make you free in a way.
Right.
It'll get you free.
Yeah.
It's just the right thing to do.
In Mastering Human, you don't need to apologize. It's fine. I'm all for jumping in between people and giving everybody the opportunity to talk, and I don't want to cut anybody off. So you're fine. You're fine. I love this setup. I love how I can pop up the questions and do the scene the way that it is. It's just fun to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like, I actually distribute this onto Spotify and Apple and everything after it's finished. Unfortunately, it's not letting me finish.
Sweet. I'll definitely be listening to it later.
Good. I hope all of you do. I do want to say thank you.
It's weird because they're like voices slowing down and speeding up again. It's skipping out.
Yeah. So I want to thank you guys for being on.
Yeah,
here
cheers,
tonight.
guys.
And I'm definitely going to do more of these. Hopefully, I don't have this issue every time.